Todd Boehly built his fortune the old-fashioned way, by being the sharpest, most relentless dealmaker in the room, a dealmaker who learned to see value where others saw noise. He's the kind of investor who treats assets like chess pieces. Every acquisition, every board seat, every partnership designed to control more of the board, and then press the advantage. From a suburban upbringing in Virginia to steering a global holding company with stakes across sports, entertainment, finance, and tech, Boehly's story is equal parts risk, timing, and ambition. Born in 1973 in Fairfax County, Virginia, Boehly grew up in a family that prized education and steady work. He attended the Landon School in Bethesda, a formative environment where discipline and networks formed early. He went on to the College of William and Mary, where he earned a degree in business and finance, an education that would give him both the technical foundation and the thirst for markets that never quite sleep. Those early experiences taught him two enduring lessons. Know the numbers better than anyone else, and befriend the people who can open doors. His professional rise began in the safe corridors of finance. Early stints at Credit Suisse First Boston and J.H. Whitney & Company gave him a grounding in deal structuring and private markets. But it was at Guggenheim Partners, where he landed in 2001, that Boehly's star began to burn hot. There he built and led the credit business, rose to become president, and earned a reputation as the executive who could marshal capital and maneuver deals across industries. That combination of credit expertise and executive authority would prove essential when he decided to strike out on his own. In 2015, Boehly left Guggenheim and co-founded Eldridge Industries, a private holding company and investment vehicle that would become his sandbox. Eldridge's playbook is straightforward. Make concentrated bets across financial services, insurance, technology, media, and real assets, acquire high-quality management teams, and knit value back together through operational oversight and capital markets access. The company moved fast from a boutique investor to a diversified powerhouse, taking majority and minority stakes in everything from fintech and data platforms to real estate and entertainment properties. Eldridge became not just a checkbook, but a holding company that centralizes governance and the levers of leverage. What separates Boehly from many of his peers is the combination of scale and cultural agility. He doesn't just buy companies, he buys influence. If a media asset needs a seat at the right table, he takes that seat. If a regional sports franchise needs a national partner, he supplies the relationships. Over the next decade, Eldridge's portfolio began to read like a modern map of cultural capital. Investments in digital platforms, stakes in entertainment properties, and important roles on boards that ranged from private companies to public market franchises. Sports, for Boehly, was both passion and strategy, and where his profile became public-facing. He already held ownership stakes in major American franchises, and he was no stranger to the complex economics of sports broadcasting and rights deals. In 2022, he led a consortium to buy Chelsea Football Club, paying a purchase price that shocked the soccer world and reset valuations in the Premier League. The deal, consummated in May 2022, closed at a headline figure often reported as up to £4.25 billion. It wasn't merely a sports transaction. It was a geopolitical and financial maneuver that removed Roman Abramovich's long tenure and repositioned Chelsea under new, deeply capitalized stewardship. The acquisition thrust Boehly into the global sports spotlight, instantly expanding his sphere from U.S. franchises to one of Europe's most valuable clubs. Owning a club like Chelsea came with instant scrutiny, from fans demanding trophies to regulators watching sales and compliance issues left behind by the previous ownership. The job required both diplomacy and decisiveness. Boehly's reputation for swift executive action, reshaping leadership, and investing heavily in talent and infrastructure became a defining theme of his early months at the club. He moved quickly to appoint new executives, recruit technical staff, and position Chelsea as a stable platform for long-term competition and revenue growth. For Boehly, sports ownership is a strategic asset, a community brand that can be monetized across media, sponsorship, and global fan engagement. Parallel to sports, Boehly's financial plays have been both eclectic and deliberate. Eldridge invested in fintech, data platforms, and media businesses, a basket that includes companies working at the intersection of data and consumer engagement. The philosophy is clear: invest where consumer attention marries monetizable infrastructure. That meant bets on digital financial services, subscription businesses, data analytics, and platforms that throttle recurring revenue. Whether it was investing in payment and rewards technologies or acquiring stakeholdings in media companies, Eldridge's moves were underpinned by confidence in predictable cash flow and optionality for scale. Boehly's style is executive first. He's known for demanding managers who can operationalize vision and then get out of the way, a top-down approach that has drawn both praise and critique. Colleagues describe him as precise and relentless, a leader who wants results quickly and measures success by the bottom line and market position. That style enabled rapid turnarounds and aggressive deal-making, but it also meant friction where long-tenured cultures met his urgency. In business, as in sports, change can be destabilizing, and Boehly embraced that tension as a cost of growth. Controversy and conflict are not foreign to Boehly's orbit. High-profile acquisitions invite scrutiny: how assets were priced, how liabilities were handled, and how past governance issues are reconciled. The Chelsea purchase, for instance, came with a complicated pre-sale legacy of sanctions and legal liabilities tied to the previous owner. Those complexities required careful legal structuring and, in some public reporting, revealed clauses and holdbacks intended to protect the new owners against undisclosed liabilities. For any investor, these details are the fine print that often defines whether a deal becomes a trophy or a trap. But Boehly's appetite for risk often found reward. By building a tightly managed holding company, he achieved the kind of scale that unlocks proprietary deals. He was able to leverage balance sheets across sectors, moving capital where returns were highest. Some of Eldridge's investments were strategic: media platforms that could promote content tied to sports franchises, financial assets that provided steady fee income, and real estate positions that hedge against market volatility. That orchestration, finding synergies and moving interlocking pieces, is the hallmark of a modern industrial investor. His public profile, however, belies a private life that is conspicuously low-key. Boehly is married with children, and he prefers to keep family life out of headlines. He's also philanthropic, supporting select causes and educational institutions that reflect his background and values. But unlike some billionaires who court the social pages, Boehly's public persona is more about influence in boardrooms and sports stadia than weekend charity galas. The media sees him most when he's making big acquisitions or taking seats on high-profile boards. To understand Boehly's fortune, you must look at scale and timing. His net worth has moved with his investments and market sentiment. Across profiles and market tallies, he's been placed among the billionaire ranks. Those estimates reflect stakes across private holdings and public assets, a blend that complicates precise valuation but underscores his financial clout. Whether in real estate, private equity, or sports franchises, Boehly's assets are diversified and often tightly controlled, which magnifies both upside and responsibility. Strategically, Boehly's investments signal a core belief that attention can be monetized if you control the pipes. Sports franchises, media companies, and digital platforms all gather audiences. Financial services and insurance provide recurring cash flows, and real assets offer ballast. By owning pieces across this continuum, Eldridge can shift capital and talent to where returns are most pronounced. It's a modern conglomerate model, nimble but centralized, opportunistic but disciplined. There are, inevitably, critics. Some argue that media conglomeration and sports commercialization risk alienating fans and consumers, converting institutions into profit centers at the expense of tradition. Others warn of governance risks when one holding company exerts outsized influence across arenas. Boehly's response, implicit in his actions, is that modernization and investment are necessary for global competitiveness. His approach privileges growth and efficiency over nostalgia. Whether that trade-off is ultimately justified will be measured in trophies, balance sheets, and the patience of fans and customers alike. Today, Boehly commands a portfolio that spans continents and industries, and the playbook he uses is now familiar to investors worldwide. Combine financial engineering with operational oversight and cultural assets, then scale those assets into platforms that generate predictable returns. As chairman of Eldridge, he deploys capital with a surgeon's precision, cutting away underperformance and stitching together businesses that can amplify value across the group. It's aggressive, methodical, and characteristic of a new breed of billionaire who thinks in ecosystems rather than standalone companies. The Chelsea chapter will likely define a large portion of his legacy. Owning one of England's most storied clubs puts him in the annals of football history, if the wins and infrastructure investments follow. But ownership is only part of the equation. Real influence comes from translating club culture into global commercial opportunities, sponsorships, media rights, fan engagement, and expanding the brand into markets that pay. In that way, Chelsea is a case study in how modern sports franchises are managed by global capital. Boehly's moves will be studied by investors, cheerleaders, and administrators for years to come. Looking forward, the pattern is clear. Boehly will keep buying, repositioning, and consolidating where market inefficiencies exist. His next moves will likely involve deeper investment in technologies that monetize attention, data platforms, subscription services, and infrastructure that supports large-scale content distribution. And with sports and entertainment as his visible megaphone, he has a built-in laboratory to test and scale consumer-facing innovations. For competitors and partners alike, the message is blunt. When Todd Boehly sees a strategic axis, he moves capital with speed and focus. In the ledger of modern capitalists, Boehly is a reminder that influence comes not just from cash, but from control. He orchestrates boards, strings together assets, and uses cultural brands as engines of value. Whether you cheer for his teams or criticize conglomerates, you have to respect the discipline it takes to build a private empire in an age where reputation can be as valuable as revenue. He has rewritten at least one rule, that global sports teams are now central pieces of diversified investment portfolios. This is the story of a financier who transformed himself into a modern impresario of assets, a man who learned to move from the back offices of credit markets to the front row of stadiums and boardrooms. From William and Mary to Eldridge's War Room, Todd Boehly's narrative is about scale, appetite, and the willingness to bet big. He makes no small moves because small moves don't shift the chessboard. And in the high-stakes game of global capital, he's proven adept at playing for the center squares.